Want to elevate your travel experience? Here's how. With a Delta SkyMiles Reserve American Express card, you can relax before your flight in the Delta Sky Club with up to 15 visits per medallion year. And now through July 15th, 2026, you can earn up to 125,000 bonus miles, so you're closer to your next adventure. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve card. Check out the new design at www.delta.com/Spotify. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast. Breaking news.
Well, it is a socialist sweep in New York. Welcome back to the Rita Cosby Show. A very troubling socialist sweep and a very troubling socialist influence taking place now in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party tonight has moved further left than ever before. Socialist red sweep is probably the best way to describe it. In fact, one of the candidates called her district the Commie Corridor, and she won. So 3 candidates that were backed by Zohran Mamdani, all of them want to abolish ICE, call Trump a fascist, say there should be no support of Israel, and they have now won their respective primaries. Brad Lander, former DSA member, also Daria-Liza Chevalier, who is a current DSA member, and Claire Valdez, a current DSA member and New York State Assemblywoman. All 3, all Mamdani-backed, have won their respective primaries, and that is a very troubling sign for what's happening in the Democratic Party and in America. If you thought Zohran Mamdani was a one-off, now he's got more members of his army. And here is Daria-Liza Avila Chevalier. Again, they all won primaries in very, very heavy Democratic districts, so they're probably 3 members of Congress that they will all become. But here is Daria-Liza Chevalier. Take a listen. This is what she said after October 7th, after what happened to Israel. And listen to what she said. She started supporting Hamas in Gaza. This is who's going to Congress likely. Listen to her.
Who is the terrorist? Who is the terrorist? The United States of America. We feel the Palestinian blood. We feel the Palestinian blood. And we stand in solidarity with Palestine. We have the historic responsibility. We have the historic responsibility of defeating Israel colonialism. Israel colonialism. And U.S. imperialism. And U.S.
I went to Wikipedia this morning to look at the map of where the resistance is.
And that's from a rally on October 7th. That's Daria-Liza Avila Chevalier, who just won New York's 13th District Democratic primary. You can tell she hates, obviously, Israel. She wants to abolish ICE, abolish prisons. She also wants non-citizens to vote. And she believes that all deportations, even of criminals like murderers, that's wrong, that they should all just kind of hang out in the community and hang out at everybody's houses. It sounds like a really nice place to live. And New York City just got a lot worse with these 3 candidates. Meantime, President Trump also talking today, and he's been talking a lot about Iran because he said this deal with Iran so far is moving in the right direction. And he said he is a far cry from any deal that Obama did, which was a disaster. And this one instead comes from a position of strength. Here's President Trump.
We have Iran in a position that nobody's ever had. This should have been done for 47 years by other presidents. And we have Iran in a position where their military has been totally wiped out. Their leadership has been wiped out. Their radar has been wiped out. Everything's been wiped out. They have not a good negotiating position. But despite that, and money that will be taken out of Iran is going to go to our farmers to give corn, soybeans, wheat to Iran because they have a hunger problem, they have a food problem, they have a medicine problem, they got a lot of problems. And they have an inflation. Their inflation now just hit 300%. So they have a lot of problems.
And speaking of problems, now this is a problem with who has been pushed in these primaries. President Trump calling these socialist candidates communists. And as I mentioned, one of them, Claire Valdez, even says that she represents the commie corridors. So she's not backing away from that. And here is President Trump. He was in Pennsylvania earlier today. He was talking about Governor Josh Shapiro there, but he also used the moment to talk about these candidates in New York who all won tonight.
Elections, and now if you look at New York, we have all communists running. They're all excited. They're going to win their primaries, but I can't imagine they can beat a normal Republican. So I think it's a good thing, Muser. What do you think? I think it's a good thing. Wouldn't you like to run against somebody like that? Well, Shapiro's not that much better, to be honest with you, but I won't. They're all being forced. They're all being forced. A guy like Shapiro, he's going to be forced to the left. Otherwise, he's not going to get the nomination. But they voted.
And President Trump's hitting it on the head, because what's happening is it's forcing these other candidates to go further to the left. You see it with Governor Hochul. You saw it even with Adriano Espaillat, even though he got primaried by another candidate that was backed by Mondani. But it will force others to go to the left to appease to these far left voters. And that is a big concern. And here's President Trump talking about how strange the party has become. And he also brings up Graham Plattner. Listen to this.
I was a very successful real estate person, but I love watching politics. And my whole life I've watched politics saying, we will cut your taxes. We will cut. I never heard these people say, we will raise your taxes. This country has gotten very strange politically, especially with all the communists that are up for election. You know, you have communists. These aren't socialists. These are communists. And they're all up. How about the guy in Maine? He's got the Nazi stickers. He's got the whole deal, and they're trying to say so for 8 years, 10 years, they said Trump is a Nazi. Now they can't say that anymore because they have a guy with a tattoo on his chest. It's unbelievable.
And that is President Trump. He brings up a good point. He's talking about Graham Plattner. Trump's getting called a fascist by a lot of these members also, by the way, who won tonight. These are the candidates in the Democratic primary. And yet, look, there's a candidate like Graham Plattner with a Nazi tattoo that's been on his chest for 17 years. You can't make it up. These candidates are extreme. They are crazy. And in my mind, they are so dangerous. And it really is starting a very troubling trend for America that is going to get a lot worse, I think, before it gets better. There are more moderate Democrats out there, and tonight they're going, are you kidding me? What's happening to our party? And that's the big, big concern. If you watch everything that's happening tonight, this trend with these different candidates, including especially, you got Brad Lander, who was arrested outside ICE court because he was saying that nobody essentially should be deported. Then you got people like Claire Valdez, who has said that everybody should stay here. There should be no deportation. Same thing. She wanted to, at one point, even end U.S. military aid at the Pentagon. Can you imagine? Not just abolish ICE, not just abolish police. Let's abolish the military, too. Let's see what kind of a country we would have if we had an extreme candidate like that. And then you also have in New York 13, Daria Lisa Chevalier, who's saying non-citizens should vote. The party and America is losing its mind. This is a sad, sad state of affairs. And boy, is it a troubling one. Let's go to your calls real quick. Let's go to Robert in Philly, line 5. Go ahead, Robert.
Hey, Rita, as always, it's great to talk to you. And I just wanted to say that I understand people who are sane and normal in New York City would be upset by this. But I think that if you look at what their benefit will be for this, for the Democrats, and what the detriment will be for the Democrats, I think it's, in a weird way, a good thing. And I'll explain to you why.
Oh, yeah, I got to hear this one. Why?
Because the people that are being replaced, Goldman, Nadler, they will vote the same way that Nadler and Goldman have been voting for the last few years. The Democrats aren't picking any picking up any more members for their caucus. They're just getting these people who are going to vote the same way anyway, because the Democrats have been voting lockstep for the past 10 years now. So they're not going to get any benefit from it. But nationally, what's happening to the Democratic Party is going to keep resulting in a decrease in the number of votes that the Democrats are going to get. Kamala got 4 million less than Joe, and whatever candidate they put up this time, I bet they won't get more than 73 million. And see, in one way, my President Trump is very lucky in that after Hillary, he doesn't have. There's nobody good for the Democrats to put up to run. I mean, look at their field, look at their bench. And if they think that they're happy now because, yay, the Democratic Socialists, the faster they become fully Democratic Socialists, the faster will be the demise of their party as a whole, in my opinion.
No, you know what, Robert? You bring up an interesting point. You're right, because it sort of even, I guess, crystallizes even more the common sense versus crazy. You know, because people are going, oh, this is not normal. This is not, and you're right. Maybe the base is staying, with them because that's maybe where the base is going. But you're right. I don't see them expanding. And these candidates are so radical. But what still concerns me is their policies are so radical. I mean, you look even at Zoran Mondani in New York, what he's been pushing, obviously this, second home tax, the I won't march in Israel's parade, a lot of these things. The not condemning a lot of these activities that are just clearly anti-Semitic. And there's a very kind of nasty, concerning strain. And a lot of it is this anti-Semitism. It's anti-ICE. It's anti-police. I mean, can you imagine living in a world, Robert, with some of these views? And even if you're right, that it doesn't overall increase, it can make some of the locations pretty miserable. And you got in Philadelphia, you got in Pennsylvania, that guy there, Rob, the guy who's, he's a Democratic Socialist, far progressive guy too. You've got a number of these candidates that they can still have a lot of influence even within the city and their districts. And that's, I don't want them to have, that kind of influence in any district. Well, really all it is just, it's not even increasing. It's just continuing Democratic control in these areas. No, I hear what you're saying. What I'm saying is that their impact will be more severe or extreme than if it were to be a moderate Democrat. That you're right. Overall, it doesn't change the numbers, but they certainly, you look at Mondani. He's certainly had an impact in New York. And already he endorsed these three candidates, and he's saying, this is going to be part of a national trend. So, okay, we start in New York, and then we're going to keep on going, and you're going to suddenly see like the Bernie Sanders and the Elizabeth Warren and Zoran Mondani, and they're far anti-Israel, anti-police candidates. I think we're going to see a lot more of them in the future. And you're right, I don't think it increases the numbers, but it increases, I think, the vile behavior. I think that I've never seen anti-Semitism at such a high rate. And I absolutely believe that a lot of the rhetoric from various political representatives is adding to it, and we're only going to see more. And this anti-police rhetoric. How about putting, ICE agents? You see these ICE agents that are constantly under siege and under attack. And I can't help but think that some of the rhetoric coming from a variety of politicians bashing ICE is inspiring other individuals. And that saddens me. So they can still have a philosophy and a more extreme impact that is not good for public safety, Robert. You'll agree with that, right? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, there will be bad that will come from it. But I'm telling you, Rita, I firmly believe that the Democrats moving to socialism will drive away voters as surely as their policies drive away businesses and taxpayers in blue cities. And when the rubber meets the road, Rita, socialism is going to go down, and it's going to take the Democratic Party with them. I firmly believe that in the long run. Crazy is still going to lose. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I just feel like they may have to go further before they hit rock bottom. And that's what concerns me, too. Just because, for America, I want the best for America. But I agree with you. I think ultimately it is the demise. There's no doubt. Robert, thank you. Always great to hear from you in Philadelphia. And everybody will continue your calls after the break here on The Rita Cosby Show on a very busy primary election night as news has been breaking fast and furious.